Welcome to the Marketing Revolution podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand that everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution podcast and the Marketing Savage Facebook group. I hope all of you guys are having an amazing Wednesday today. Of course, this podcast, for you podcast listeners, it is being dropped on Thursday, but why the fuck aren't you in our Facebook group? You need to get on over there, guys. And just a heads up, I'm getting ready to go live with Adam Niec, and we're going to be talking some really cool shit. We're going to get into the nuts and the bolts of Adam's story, how he created an amazing software payment company. But before we jump into that, I want to give you guys a quick reminder that we are closing out, guys. I don't know if you guys seen this, but we are 68% full. Actually, it went up. I think we're 90 or 70% full now as of this morning. So we were going to try to run this Inner Circle Marketing Savage University sale all the way up until January the 1st. And I thought we were going to make it, but I don't know that we will get there, guys, because they are literally getting bought left and right. And that community is being built out as we speak. So guys, we've already done our first coaching call. We're getting ready to do our first tactical training today. All of our members got the Marketing Savage University for only $249 for a lifetime. I want you guys to keep in mind that this goes up to $1,000 per year after we sell out our 100 seats. And I'm telling you right now, if you're listening, you're watching the podcast, I'm going to get you eventually. Just let you know, because I'm going to have so many teasers out there. I'm going to be letting you guys know the guest marketers that are coming on. I got my multi-million-dollar friends that are going to be in there giving multi-million-dollar advice. And literally for the first year, less than a fucking 70 cent a day cup of coffee, less than a Speedway cup of coffee, you could be in there kicking off 2021 and making it your bitch. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Make it your bitch. Let's kick 2020 in the dick like it needs to be done. And then let's kick off 2021 by grabbing it by the nuts and making it your bitch. Okay. Hey, that's my rant, man. You know, I had to get that in before I brought on an awesome guest like Adam.
Thank you.
What's happening, Adam? How you doing today, brother?
Not much, man. Just loving the beautiful Cleveland, Ohio weather. Similar to yours right now where you're at. And I'm happy to be here warm in my office with you. So thanks for having me on.
Hey, except you guys get that fucked up ice, that shit that comes off the lake up there. Yep. I've seen people's cars like frozen with like 10 inches of ice.
Dude, lake effect snow is quite the phenomenon. But we had, like, about a month ago, we had an actual ice storm kind of where like trees fell down. You know, there was a massive 100-foot tree or 80, whatever it was, in our backyard that had to get totally taken out because it just split in half. It was like the weirdest thing. So
I love it up in Cleveland, man. I love it up in Cleveland. And Alan Johnson looked like he's in the house. Alan, I'll put a link in the comments, buddy. So check back. I'll put a link for the marketing. It's marketingsavage.com. I'll put a link in the comments. So let me ask you something. You live up near Westlake, or where do you live at? I
live about 25 minutes southeast of Westlake, in a little town called Brecksville. So it's like halfway between Cleveland and Akron, and it's a great location. So
cool, man. You ever roll up on LeBron James' house up there in Akron?
Yeah, I actually know exactly where it is. I don't know who lives there. Yeah, but that was a cool thing to do. Like, oh, let's go drive by LeBron's house.
I know, and it's in like a $300,000. It's like a $15 million mansion in a $300,000 neighborhood, which is a pretty good neighborhood in that part of Ohio.
Yeah, it's like technically it's right by a fair lawn. Right by, there's like a gym there, and it's real close to the highway. So it was smart from him, you know.
Well, Adam, you know, being a marketer, man, when I drove by there, the next door neighbor's house was for sale. And he had like kind of a shitty house right next door to LeBron. And I'm like, as a marketer, I'm like, you know, I might as well go buy that and create LeBron World.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We'll just like build a tower where we can have like binoculars and we can look in, see if we can get a glimpse of LeBron James, and have like one of them rides with like LeBron shoes that little kids can get in, maybe get some ponies out there, and then just stand by the fence, waiting to maybe see him. Like, hey, LeBron, can I maybe get some brown sugar?
Yeah, there you go.
Your neighbor, I need some brown sugar.
I'm not going to come in and shoot some hoops in your basement.
Yeah, he wouldn't be very happy if I created a LeBron world, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
That'd be after we had the war, like he wouldn't kick it with me or something like that. And then the next thing you know, I'm like, well, fuck you. I'm going to create LeBron world right here. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Adam. I'm sure the group knows. I mean, we got tons of studs in this group. Adam's an Apex executive member with me. So he's, part of the Ryan Stewman family over there. And, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started. And, let's take a step back, a little journey back, because everybody wants to know a little bit about you.
Sure. Yeah. So my wife and I live and our daughter live in, Cleveland area. Right. And we've known each other for a while. We were apart for 6 years, got back together, and got married 40 days later, or engaged, if you will. And we're almost 30. It's coming up, and for me in March. And everyone talks about the big 30 and how it's weird or whatever, but it's just a number to me. So, but life's good, man. I mean, I own a few companies, and I jumped out of the employment, or the employee role, about almost 2 years ago, when my partner Marshall and I launched Certain Pay. And between that and now, I've opened 3 more companies, and I'm just learning how to continue to delegate and automate stuff and grow. I love to golf. I love to run. I do a lot of the normal guy stuff, but very, very motivated and ambitious, and want to. My main goal, my big hairy goal, is to change the payments industry, because I think there's a lot of bad stuff that happens to small businesses, and it's wrong. And I think I have something that's going to make that happen. So I'm excited.
So tell us how you got on the mission to do that. Like, how did you get on the mission to change the way? And when he says the payment industry, guys, he's talking about merchant services. So whether you got a credit card swiper inside of your facility, whether you got an app on your phone, tell us a little bit about how you got on that mission to change that industry. And then let's lead into some of the things that you're actually doing right now to do just that.
So I'll start from the way beginning. So in college, my buddy had an idea. What if you could use your credit card or your debit card as a loyalty card anywhere you want? So you go to the ice cream shop, you buy 5 ice cream cones, get the 6 free, right? Instead of having to carry all those plastic cards, you just use a card, that you already have in your wallet. We launched that concept, and what I realized was, being in the industry, the credit card industry, would help me like build relationships, learn how to sell, figure out the industry, like what goes on. And then, so I got started selling in payments, right? For a company I worked there for a little over 5 years, 62 months to be exact. And in the meantime of that, I quit there to launch the rewards program. It failed miserably because consumers, turns out they weren't comfortable with that. And so I came back to selling because that's all I knew. And that experience of failing actually really helped, because I learned a lot of shit. And, I think I grew a lot as a person. And then I was actually like right around the time where my wife and I got back together. So, but after that, we got engaged, we moved in together, and for about a little over 2 years, sold for that same company again. And then stuff started to change there. I didn't like it. I didn't agree with it ethically and morally. And so about October of 2018, I joined Apex, right? Apex One. And Marshall Lowy and I were known as the payments guys in that group, and we were fighting over deals, and stuff like that. And I called him one day, and I was like, hey, why don't we just let's start a company? Like we had a couple conversations here and there, like at some meetups, and just we had similar beliefs and ideas. And so that was like in January of 2019. And then by the time April came around, like I quit my company, he stopped selling where he was, and we launched Certain Pay. Even throughout that process, like I've probably sold personally over, I'd say at least 400 or 500 merchant accounts. And man, it's like, I feel for the small business owner now more than ever because I technically own a small business, a couple of them, right? And I know what goes on in the industry, and anybody else that sells payments or knows credit card processing, I'm sure that you can relate to this because you've seen it or experienced it yourself, right? If you're a restaurant owner, a business owner, or whatever, where like it's not clearly, most of the time, there are good people out there that do the right thing. Most of the time, there's like no education. Everything's sold on rate and no contract and free equipment and all that other stuff. And then the rates get increased. So obviously we don't do that. That's actually one of the reasons why we started our company. We agree on that. And I just had seen it too many times where I'm like sitting down with a small business owner, it's on the phone or Zoom or whatever. And they find out because they don't put attention on it because they're a busy ass business owner, wearing 50 hats, right, to run their business. And cost procurement and just service vendor evaluation isn't a top of mind thing, right? Where they realize like for the last 2 years, your processor got an extra 10 grand from you, right? That's an actual example, or you didn't catch it until 6 months later where your rate got increased and you gave your processor an extra 2,500. Like it's wrong. It's stupid. The way they let you know is on a piece of paper that comes in the mail, your statement that you don't read. And so it just kind of clicked in my head about a year ago, a little over a year, is when I had the idea of Rate Tracker. And I realized I'm like, this should be automated. It should be a push notification to the front screen of your phone or an email so that you actually see it. And it should just tell you what your out the door rate was. Why not do that? And then after about a year of bringing it, going through the beginning phases of software, like anyone knows, it actually became a viable product. And about a week ago, I launched it to some of our competitors actually, which is really cool because they're paying me for it because it helps them too, right? And so what it does is it lets them know every single month what their rate was. When that rate increase happens, they find out immediately so that they don't get screwed for a longer period of time than they want to. And it's a great thing, I think. So that's kind of where I'm at today. I also own an online ordering company, and we just launched a company that does websites and SEO. So,
yeah. So, what's crazy about what you
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hey, guys.
I can hear you now.
Guys, can you hear me? Okay, good. So,
my bad.
yeah, you got it, man. So what is crazy about what you just said right there is something that I fucking hate the most about big bully fucking companies. I mean, I'll give you guys an example of something that just happened to me recently. So during COVID, when COVID first happened, I had 2 first-class tickets booked with Delta. And they literally gave me some sort of credit on my statement. Well, Delta.com, Delta is such a piece of shit company. They're such a piece of shit company that I go to use. Number one, they won't let me use them on any flight that I want. I have to pick the flights. Even though I paid $2,000 for these tickets, I had to pick the flights that they will allow me to use them on. That's the number one. The second thing is that my flights and my tickets went above and beyond what the credit was on the fucking statement, and it wouldn't allow me to use it because it was over. Like they wouldn't give me the option to pay the extra $200 or the extra $300. It was over the price of my previous tickets. So they just tell me, no, you can't use them. You can't use them on any flight. What a piece of shit company. And these big companies, they've been getting away with fucking abusing people for years. I don't give a fuck whether it's the cell phone companies, AT&T with their shitty customer service. All of these companies have built, they're running on an old business model that says that it's okay to fuck people over on a regular basis. And it's just okay. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? We're moving into a world that is way different, and everybody talks. Everybody from now, my fucking grandmother has a voice. My grandmother can jump on Facebook and tell, 300 friends that she fucking hates AT&T. And guess what? That voice is going to continue to amplify. So these big companies out there need to hear this because they're I'll give you another example. So let me tell you something, Adam. I went on a rant. So the Yellow Pages tried to fuck over one of my website clients. Like yellowpages.com built his website and tried to fuck him over. And I went on such a strong rant on one of my other podcasts that literally it got played at Yellow Pages headquarters. It got played at Yellow Pages headquarters, and they called him personally in Texas. Now, I'm sitting over here in Ohio. They called him personally in Texas and said, "You're working with John Hiley?" That's the power of a voice today, guys, because I won't hesitate to call any of these fucking piece of shit companies that try to operate and try to basically steal from people, hide it and weave it away inside of contracts. Fuck you guys. It's time that people like Adam stepped up and fucking annihilated you pieces of shit cockroaches from the face of the earth. Period.
Bam.
That's it, man. These motherfuckers, all they do is sit around a boardroom and care about profit. Well, fuck you. We're in a time where relationships are now more important than profit, motherfuckers.
Right.
There's nothing that pisses me off more than this, man.
Yeah, dude, they always have been. And the thing is like, so what'd you spend, like $2,000 on Delta tickets?
Yeah.
Okay. And like they could have just refunded you or took care of you, right?
Oh, but of course they said, "Oh, you can use these, you can redeem these vouchers in the future." So we said, you know what? Let's be good people. Have always been good to us.
But dude, here's the thing though. Like you're gonna spend more than $2,000 in the future, right? A lot of companies right now are focusing on the now because maybe they're struggling. Like who knows what the fuck Delta's bank account looks like or whatever that, however that works. But like the concept is that you have a big audience, you have a voice, and you just said a lot of stuff that's going to probably cost them way more than $2,000, and that's okay because you're entitled to say that, right? But that's kind of how that's how we operate. Like we make a comfortable profit every month. It's every month because it's residual. It's credit card processing, and like my reputation and my image and everything, my brand personally is important, right? And because I'm young, I'm 29, like I want to help a bunch of people, and I'll make a bunch of money doing it, but the money is not first, right? I'm a small business owner. We've had so many shitty vendors too. We made a lot of bad decisions, and I'm not going to go into specifics, but one of them actually, was fairly recent, and it's like, why do people do that? Because I'll never refer that guy, and I know a lot of fucking people. Like I refer people, I'm the plug for a lot of stuff every day. Like I know at least 1,000 business owners by face or name, and people that provide services to them. So I told him that. I'm like, dude, why don't you just like play the long game with us here, which is one of our core values. And he just was like, nope, pay me. Like, all right, motherfucker. Well, see you later.
So. You know what? But here's the thing, Adam. What people don't realize is accepting credit cards is like a lot like a driver's license, right? I mean, it's not a right; it's a privilege in the credit card industry.
I mean, depends on your business type. Like pretty much any restaurant or convenience store, low risk merchant can get an account unless they've got bad tax credit or tax liens or liabilities, or if they're on the credit card naughty list, the match list. Yeah, but like they got there for a reason. Could be most of the time it's from chargebacks, like excessive chargebacks, fraud, or like money is owed to a processor, which and you changed bank accounts so you could avoid the termination fee, whatever. But it is a privilege, and it's a lot of work to get an account set up properly. That's durable and long term, but we do that. So.
I had a good friend of mine back in the day, man. Now he's probably in the net worth of like $1 billion now, getting close. But a good friend of mine back in the day, before he made it, he had a company that had over 100 employees, and they were doing a lot of this stuff through ClickBank, where they were selling, products and supplements and all this kind of stuff. Well, what happened was it was a regular practice for marketers back then to put continuity in the mouse type, meaning like the shit nobody reads. They would literally weave in some sort of $10 or $15 a month continuity, meaning you were signed up like automatically for some sort of monthly product and people didn't know about it. So they would go and buy this supplement and then they were signed up for this monthly product. Well, what happened to him? It annihilated his whole company. And it basically took the merchants came and said they just shut down everything. They shut down all of his merchant accounts, and then after that, the IRS came after him because he didn't have any money and he owed a bunch of money. And then, like, little by little, this 100-person company got crushed. Now, he's a great guy. That's just the way that, like, they were taught to operate back then. It's like, who taught him how to do it? And it's bullshit. And I know it's total bullshit. But, the thing is with it, he learned a big time learning lesson. And now he owns a massive fucking amazing company that's just out there crushing it and killing it and changing the world. And he's involved in all kinds of charities and all kinds of great stuff like that. But he had to have that learning lesson, that kick in his nuts that, guess what? This isn't something that's a right. You don't have the right to accept credit cards, man. You fuck over too many people and get massive amounts of chargebacks. They're going to not only shut you down, they're just going to shut down your cash flow. They're going to bam, you're done.
That's their money. Like the processor and the bank that acquires your account, they literally have rights to everything in your bank account. And you know what you said right there. I love to talk about. I mean, I'm just obsessed with payments. It's it might be weird to the average person, but I think it's really cool that you can take, a piece of plastic and it actually turns into money into a business that business can operate, the owner can feed their families and all that other shit. It always tells the story too. It tells a very deep story. And it's not just about activity of which way the money is flowing. Because obviously if there's a bunch of chargebacks, there's a reason. We signed up a dude about a year ago that had a 5.14% chargeback rate. Why? Because he was running a shitty business and technically it was fraud what he was doing. And we ordered equipment from him and we know why that was the case. 5% is a lot, because a lot of times people just call in to get a refund, but people were like, fuck it, I'm charging this guy back. So that was a massive, crazy situation. We learned a lot, but going back to it, man, payments talk, the way people look at money, the way that they approach what we do. And it's a very intimate thing to sign up with a credit card processor. And that's why we don't make it about price. We give a fair price so that the salesperson can get paid, and Rate Tracker holds us accountable, right? We're not going to raise your rates, and you'll get the value that you would want as a business owner. And that's really in the form of, efficiency, minimal headaches, and your time back. So yeah. I could talk about it all day, but this is your show, so.
No, man. Hey, you're the guest. You're highlighted here today, and we got a question here online. What is your credit card service name, and is yours available on a phone, or do you guys have merchant equipment that you give?
Yeah. So the name of my company is CertainPay. www.gocertainpay.com. And so Marshall and I created this company we wanted to be able to serve any merchant anywhere. We can work international, but it's obviously that's a longer process, and we can get them done mostly US and Canada. And we have any solution that a merchant would need: mobile solution, countertop solution. We can integrate with a lot of point of sale systems, online websites, things like that. We have an invoicing platform that you can send out an invoice. The person can click a link. It takes them to a hosted payment page. They pay, and then the money just cycles automatically to the bank account. So our goal in our pitch is how are you accepting payments, and how can we make it more efficient? So it's because it's time. That's what it comes back to. And it's also, you take a plumber or an electrician, they might have guys in the field that are working at a business or someone's home. It's really easy to just take a payment with a mobile reader that's attached to a cell phone that you can securely run that payment, get paid. The customer loves it because it's professional. They get a receipt emailed to them, and then it also saves the merchant money on the fees that the issuing banks charge, about a third of a percent.
Man, I haven't physically printed a receipt even in my service-based companies forever.
Dude, yeah.
I get some old timers that ask occasionally, and because they need a physical receipt and they don't know how to print it, we'll draft one up for them. But that's twice a year. Almost every client and customer that I work with just gets an email receipt. I mean, it's the day and age of email.
I know there's a system that that some company offers where it's you only you send digital receipts. That's it. I bet you that becomes the future of the receipt, because why would you waste paper, and why do you need this piece of paper and to tell you what you paid for? Check your phone, check your credit card app, on your phone. We're digital, man. I mean, it's exciting times. I think it's really cool.
It's time to, yeah, because I literally got a filing cabinet that I haven't opened for 10 years. And I don't even know why I still have it. You know what I mean? It's actually in a storage unit. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, you know, why do I even have a filing cabinet now? Because now we're filing everything, you know, online.
Right.
We're literally creating folders. I mean, they got Dropbox now that has an app that you can actually scan a receipt, and you can, inside of Dropbox, you can name whichever company it is. And as you get receipts, you just scan them, crumble them up, and throw them into the trash can.
Dude, and it's actually probably more risky or riskier, whatever the term is, to have your stuff sitting in a storage unit, hard paper. This is like storing it securely on your Google Drive or however you would, CRM or whatever. But you can't really get much from a receipt. Like most of the stuff is truncated now, but it has to be actually from a compliance standpoint. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. It's cool, dude. You're 30 years old and out here already almost 30. When are you going to be 30?
March 20th.
Okay, March 20th. My wife's March 3rd.
Nice.
So she would know what sign you are.
Yeah, well, she's a Pisces. I'm an Aries.
Okay. So yeah, she would know. I actually found out, like, I never got it because when I looked at my signs, I was either a Scorpio or a Sagittarius, right?
And, like, November?
November 23rd, yeah. And so I realized when I looked it up, like, none of them ever sounded like me, right? And I was like, so this is not me, you know what I mean? But I found out that I was born on a cusp. And then, now get this, here's what's going to make you fucking laugh. You're on the Marketing Revolution podcast right now. I was born on the cusp of revolution where water meets fire. Isn't that fucking crazy, right? So I went and read what my cusp horoscope said. I was like, holy fucking shit. Right there was like all my life problems and wins and all that was just wrapped up in a fucking in one of these things, right?
And, like, I know what the funny thing is those, I mean, obviously horoscopes, like, I'm not really into that. I just know those things because I know my own, and my wife's birthday is November 15th. And like, those two signs are really compatible, right? And then it's like, what does that mean? Like, these, you know, maybe there's some truth to it, I'm sure, but like, you ever read a horoscope? It's super broad and like anyone can relate to it.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like, you know, the predictions of Notre Dame, where you could just throw a dart. I mess with my wife about this all the time, where you could just throw a dart on a board somewhere and it fucking lands, and you can say something abstract around it. You know what I mean? That anybody could pick up and make their own interpretations.
That's a blanket statement. Yeah. It's cool how people relate to that, and like, you know, as a marketer, I'm sure you can appreciate that because it builds, you know, excitement, and loyalty, and brand, and all that stuff.
Well, you know, one of the dudes that I'm going to be having on this podcast here pretty soon, he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be on here pretty soon, is a guy named Mike Kimsky. And I always like to call him Mike Kaminsky, but it's Mike Kimsky. And he is a energy specialist. And what I love about him is that he has broke it down. Like, a lot of people put all of this bullshit, these ideas and stuff that's actually outside of yourself. Like, I'm going to bring this fucking crystal rock into my house, and this one like object is actually going to bring me all of this power and all this shit. And then, you know, whatever. It's the belief that that object is going to bring you power, because the power always lies inside of you, inside of us. And one of the things I love about Mike, you know, and he's helped me gain clarity around things. A lot of us go through life and we have our energy is going everywhere, right? So our energy is going everywhere. And as fucking human beings, dude, our energy is powerful as fuck. Now, when you can take that energy that's going in all these different directions and laser focus it down to one thing, dude, you can fucking move mountains. And you can move mountains. We've already moved mountains, man. That car that you're getting ready to jump in to go home today, that was once in a fucking mountain. It was once in a fucking mountain, man.
Wow, man, that's some deep shit.
So you think about that, right? You think about that. But the power that we have, but who created it? A man, right?
Yeah.
Took it out of that mountain, mined it, milled it, fucking made it into what it is today. Our creative power is massive, but it all comes from right here. It's not this bullshit outside of us. It's not a fucking feather hanging on your lamp or some incense that whatever that you sit down. The power comes from within. And the moment that you realize that, you know, the moment that you realize that, and not to mention the coolest fucking thing is that we're a creation of what created everything. You think about this, man. If you look at it like this, man is the only thing that can create, that can take from this world, can take that mountain and turn it into a fucking car, can literally create just as this world is created. That fucking power is inside of us. That power. If that power is an ocean, we're a drop in that ocean.
Right. Dude, that's so cool. Wow, that's some deep shit right there too.
So,
I mean, you also could think about the concept that nothing has power unless you give the power to it, right? Like,
that's true.
You can there's obviously, you own a business. I'm sure there's things that come at you daily that you're like, fuck, leave me alone, like whatever. And you can just not focus on it, focus on what you need to do. And that's where the power lies. Cause you say, fuck you to that external force that does not have any relevance to you,
Are you familiar with neurophysics?
A little bit. Yeah.
So if you actually look into quantum physics, if you actually look into pure quanta, which is the very smallest thing that we can see in this earth, it's you got protons, neutrons, atoms, and then it vibrates down to pure quanta. So quantum physics is the study of the smallest thing in the fucking world. And the reason why it's the smallest is because it's pure energy. It's elusive. It's on and off, just like a lot of things in this world, right? So the deeper you look into it, it disappears simply because it's pure energy. If you actually take that little piece of quanta and you blow it up, now look, even Google it. Google what a piece of quanta, like quantum physics, looks like, right? You will see that in that little packet of vibrating energy, you're going to find the fucking whole universe. So everything that we can see as a whole in a universe is packaged down to the very, very smallest bit, the very smallest piece of that little vibrating energy. So, and that is what everything is made of. That desk that you're sitting on, or that chair that you're sitting on, that desk that you're leaning on, this computer, you, me, the air, everything in between. Did you know a square foot around your head, bro, the energy within a square foot, the air around your head has enough power in it to boil every fucking ocean and earth on the earth?
That's crazy. You talk about the energy that's stored in the atom, right?
Just in the air, just in the atom, just in the air around us.
Jeez, that's cool.
Has enough power just around your head, has enough power to boil every single ocean in the world.
Wow.
Fucking incredible, man. Incredible. The power that we have inside of us, the same power that brought you to where you're at today, the power that we have inside of us, man, is unlimited. It's only limited by our belief, that our restrictions, the ceiling that we put on our beliefs. Once said that we're all gods in ruin. I want to say who said that, Mark Twain or something, all gods in ruin, right?
I'll look it up.
And if you think about it, man, think about it as humankind, right? Even if you go to, whether you, and many of you guys know, man, I don't try to push whether you believe in Christian religion, whether you believe in the universe, whether you believe in the Muslim, I don't care what religion any of you guys believe in, man. I just ask that you respect my beliefs, and I respect you, man. I love you anyway, And, the truth of that matter is, if you look back, that we were born and created in the image of the Creator and the image of God, right? What does that say?
We are God.
In ruin. Because we haven't even tapped into a fraction, like a little tiny fraction of that power. And I believe just the more that we come together, the more that we talk like this, the more that guys like Adam step up, and we have podcasts like this where we're talking, where we're motivating each other, where we're showing each other the power that we're creating in our own life. We actually get the chance to shine. Like Adam, right now, you're able to shine your light, man. You're shining your light. There's somebody out there, bro. Here's why it's so important to shine your light. There's somebody out there. Imagine your light as this fucking blazing torch, right? There's somebody out there right now listening to this podcast, and their flame on the end of their torch is barely flickering, man.
Right.
Barely flickering. They're over here in the corner. They're dark. It's barely lit up around them. It's you can just see their face being slightly illuminated by this little flame. This person can hear your story, could hear my story today, and we're able to take our flames right now that are blazing and touch their flame, man, and light that motherfucker back on fire. And I don't know what type of world you guys want to live in. But the type of world I want to live in, I'm telling you, man, this shit is not in the fucking politicians' control. This shit is not it's not in other people's hands. The power is fucking within us to change this world. And each and every time we blaze our light into this world and we touch other people's lights and we light that motherfucker up, imagine what this fucking place looks like in 20 years. I'm telling you, man, it's people like us. It's people like you guys in this group. It's people like you podcast listeners. It's people like you, Adam, that are going to rise. We're going to make this world fucking rise with the tide, man. We're going to fucking light people's soul on fire, and we're never going to stop. I'm fucking relentless. This is my mission in life. This is my fucking world, man. I am relentless and I won't stop. I don't give a fuck about fucking haters, man. Fuck them. I don't give a fuck about anybody trying to drag other people down, crabs in a bucket. You know why? Because I think of that one person sitting in the corner with that little light just barely flickering, man. Just barely flickering, and I get a chance to fucking go over and shine my torch and light that bitch up.
Dude, and you know what? Like, so that's awesome because you've probably been there too. And somebody was the light for you. Shit, we all go through those times, right? And inspiration is everywhere. We just gotta look for it. And also, like, you just gotta, like, even everything is temporary, right? So if you're in that shitty spot in the corner, your candle's flickering, like, shit, this could be the podcast that does it for you, or it could just be a walk in the park or whatever the fuck it might be. But like, you don't have to feel shitty forever, right? I've been through many dark depressions and shit like that. Like I'm definitely prone to that, and you just gotta keep fucking moving and look for that light because it's everywhere. You just have to choose to see it, man.
You know what, brother? I'm a big fan of leaning into that darkness now. It used to be when I got into the darkness, I'd try to run as fast as I could through it. You know what I mean? Like, just get the fuck out of here right as fast as I could. Now I lean into it, man. Kind of like if you were at my house and I asked you to jump off my back porch onto this trampoline, you wouldn't just take off running out my back door and jump off the trampoline, off the back porch. You would walk up to the edge of the porch and you would lean down there and take a look, right? You'd say, okay, so what are we into now, right? I'm a fan of leaning into the darkness because a lot of times if we just try to run through it, we're going to miss something that we need when we step out into the light.
Right.
When you get to a point in life where you value the darkness as much as you value the light, you really get to what I think is the next level, to a level of like self-actualization and even higher, even transcendence. Which transcendence is fucking goofy, just some of the terms, but I think self-actualization is even more important, to where when you're in these dark areas, because you never know, there might be something that you discover inside of that dark area about yourself that you got the opportunity to change that could blaze your light even fucking more, man. That's why they talk about, I think Thomas Keenan, he talks about your struggle is your story or something like that. He talks about your struggle is the connection that you make with other people, being, I hate to say vulnerable, but being, putting yourself out there and letting people know the pain that you go through is a deep connection with other people. So when you lean in to have a deeper understanding of that pain, when you come out into the light, you have more fucking light, man.
Right.
They work together. They work together. And, who would want to live in a world that's just jolly fucking go happy, everybody running around like Tom Cruise jumping on Oprah's couch? You crash. You would just crash eventually.
Right.
I mean, so
like especially living in Ohio, I'm sure you can appreciate a sunny day, because there's some days where like wintertime is pretty shitty weather here. I don't really, I choose not to bitch about the weather because I'm grateful for the fact that we can have 4 seasons. Like if I lived in LA and every day was sunny and 75, I'd probably lose my mind, because I'm the kind of person, I like change. I'm always moving, that kind of stuff. Dude, I love the spring. I love even the shitty winter, dude. Because you know what? I think it looks great when you come downstairs in the morning and there's just 6 feet or 6 inches or a foot of snow. And you're like, dude, that's so beautiful. Yeah, it's cool. Stay in the house, but like, dude, you can learn to appreciate the, darkness, right? And no matter what,
because it makes the light that much better, doesn't it? Once we get through this darkness of a winter, right, that we still love, at the end of it, there's that light at the end of the tunnel that that first beam of sun that lays on that very first time you could throw on a pair of shorts, that breeze that blowing through the air, the very first walk that you take after this cold winter. I mean, you can't replace that. You know what I mean? It's you're right. It's a season. It's a feeling. It's new, renewed energy.
Dude, and I'll give you a good example. Marshall Lowy, I'll never forget this conversation that we had like it was a little over a year and a half ago. He came to Cleveland. We were sitting on my back deck, and we were a new company, dude. And our business is mostly residual money. Like we don't get paid up front. So we started from scratch. Our first residual check was $86. We paid $86 from May because we brought on a bunch of clients at the end of April after we got our shit figured out. And dude, we've obviously grown a lot since then, but during that time, it was only like 4 months into it. I was like kind of stressed about money, right? I had money saved and money coming in still in other different ways, but like I was around so many great people and I see all this success in our groups and the financial thermostat was cranked up, but it just wasn't fully there yet. And I was still figuring out the self-employed gig and running a business and all that. And he just looked at me. He's like, dude, why are you freaking out? He's like, it's just where we're at right now. And you got to go through this period because you'll appreciate the shit you have in a year. And he was absolutely fucking right. It's like the best, and I'm grateful for that. Like when you're married and you have kids, when you feel like you are not financially producing, like you can change that with just taking the right action and like learning from the right people. Right. I'm sure the people that buy into your program, if that's something that they're struggling with, fucking buy into the program, right? It's not a huge expense. Just do it, take action, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Either way, keep fucking moving and be grateful for where you're at because you have greater things to come. And it's exciting to be able to say that, and I'm living proof of it, And I'm also, I guarantee you that, yeah, I'm grateful for what we've got, but I'm super hungry for more, right? It's not even just about me. It's like the impact, money is always going to be there. I was talking to Jeff Ducharme the other day, and he's like, money is a commodity. And I'm like, that's a really good point. It is. It's totally a commodity. But like the impact and the connection and the energy that kind of going full circle with it, that is real, dude. That's what we crave as humans, especially right now because everyone's displaced and we got to be distant and all that shit. I'm sick of that. I'm excited for this all to end.
Yeah.
Going back to it, it's when you're in that spot, it's okay. Just appreciate it. It's going to change. Everything is temporary and you always keep moving forward if you choose to,
Well, what you said right there was absolutely perfect because the truth of the matter is money doesn't hold any value at all. In fact, it's nothing. Right. It's just an exchange of your energy with other people. It goes back to the old, I have a cow, you have a chicken. I have more milk and you have a surplus of eggs. And when me and you trade, our lives both become better. What I warn people though, is never get into a transaction that doesn't better both of your lives. Because the moment that you get into a business that's transactional, that steals from the world, that takes from the world with every transaction, you're actually going against nature. When you start running a business going against nature, you will be swimming the fuck upstream.
Wow.
I'm telling you, you will be swimming upstream. You want to swim with the stream? Go with nature. Make sure every transaction has a meaningful increase to the world, meaning you get increase and they get increase. And here's the proof. Many of you guys say, well, no, I love money anyway. Well, let me tell you what if I gave you all the money in the world? I gave you every car that you wanted, and I gave you every kingdom of the entire world. And then everybody in the whole world disappeared but you. You were left alone. You had all the money in the world. You had every car that you ever wanted, but you were left alone in the world to share it with nobody. What would the value of these items be?
Zero. Because nobody else is around to value it, and you'd be lonely as fuck.
Fucking nothing. Your value, our value has always been with other people. And it's the way, whatever you want to call it, God, universe, or whatever, taught us to be rewarded by helping his children, his other children. So when I get a chance to serve somebody and help one of God's children, I get rewarded by a value certificate. Now I can take this value certificate and I can apply it anywhere that I like. That's the beauty of money, is that it doesn't, otherwise I would have to exchange service for service. Right. I'd have to go find a grocery guy that needed this and needed that, but it allows us to control our energy. So money, in fact, is Very good. Could you imagine what the world would look like without money? Let me ask you something. If we didn't have any money in the world and everybody just kind of lived equally, who would have the beach house by the beach, by the ocean? Who would own that?
I don't know.
Well, let's just say that we said, no, let's make beaches public land. Let's rip down all the beach houses.
Right.
Who would own the next layer of houses that could see the ocean?
The people that have weapons? I don't know. That's a weird question.
There you go. There you go. That would send us into a lawless society that would kill and fight and destroy to have that fucking first house sitting by the beach.
Wow, yeah.
That money binds our society together and keeps us whole. So many people try to put all this bad shit on money. And I always tell people, I'm like, if you think that, if you think money's like really bad and you come at me, like I'm going to look at you like you're really bad, because the bottom line is you don't trust yourself with it, because money is an amplifier of your energy. So you know what, guess what? If you're going to do a bunch of cocaine and hookers and all this kind of stuff, if you get a bunch of money, then maybe you shouldn't have money, right? Because now it's going to be destructive to your life. But if you're actually looking to do something good with your money and good with the money and exchange it and give it to your other brothers and sisters and raise their life up, exchange, always be in exchanges that add to the world, that add to life, the life of the world. If you're in a business that doesn't do that, I recommend getting out of it. If you can't add to the life of the world,
or add to your own life,
add to your own life.
Yeah, because if it's something like that's
the exchange. That's the exchange
for sure. And like the money, obviously, over time is going to flow to the people that have the good intentions, right? It's okay to want to have money, but it's like, yeah, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to be constructive to society, your family, leave a legacy, all that stuff? Are you just going to do a bunch of hookers and blow? I mean,
yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of that too. There's a lot of that too. It's just like a everything, man. Here's what I've learned a long time ago. I talked to an old preacher, Adam, old preacher. He actually went exile from his church, and he left, and he was this old body man. And he told me one day, I was talking to him about this stuff, and I said, what's going on with this? Like, why do people believe this and that? He goes, John, you know what? Everything in the world has its exact opposite. And we were talking about this earlier. You remember me talking about the exact opposite, how people are either moving away from pain or towards pleasure?
Yeah.
Well, everything has exact opposite that mirrors each other. So you got love and you got lust. Now, these two things look a lot alike, right? They climb the same vine. They mirror each other. But which one has power? Which one has everlasting, fucking eternal power?
Love.
Yeah, the other one's a quick fix.
Right.
The love has the eternal power. Money has the exact same thing, man. You know what I mean? Either you're going to use it for everlasting love and bringing your brothers and sisters up with you, and in every exchange, we all raise ourselves a little bit higher, or there's going to be people that deplete and take and use it for abuse.
Right.
Because everything in the world has that. Everything in the world has that opposite. If you break it all the way down to when we were talking about quantum physics, that light being on and off all the time, it's sharing space with darkness. There's light and darkness all the time inside of the very smallest particle in our fucking world. But just like the great religions of the world say, the darkness serves the light. Our nights, the darkness serves the light. The light will never serve the darkness. The darkness just serves the light. It's a servant of the light. And if you go back into where we were just full circle, we were talking about leaning into the darkness. When you get to the point in your mental, into your mental game where you understand that the darkness was just here to serve the light, now you understand why we get put through the test, the pressure, the things that we get put through.
Right. And it doesn't go the other way.
It doesn't go.
That's really cool.
The light doesn't serve the darkness, man. The darkness only stands to serve the light.
Wow.
We just had a deep podcast that we just went from payroll. That's what I fucking love about this podcast, man. That's what I love about my guests, like you guys, like, like having you on here. You're a high caliber dude. What you'll find is the more high caliber people you surround yourself, like Adam, all of us think this way. You know what I mean? And some of you guys might be having your mind blown right now. And here's the thing. When you level up, when you step up to the next level, you're going to think different than just about any fucking buddy around you, man. You're going to have experiences and things like that just cause you to look deeper into certain things, man. And I hope that this podcast and hanging out with me and Adam today caused you to level up and you to look deeper and you to think about taking yourself to the next level and ultimately you to shine your light on the world.
Hell yeah. This was great.
What you think, brother?
I'm just taking in what you said. Like, I was not expecting this at all. And it's like, it's just like so awesome for what you said and so profound. And it's got me thinking about some stuff. So it's good.
Appreciate it, my man. Well, Adam, can you tell our guest out there where they can find you? So where can they go and find you? Let's remind everybody. I know you said it once.
I'm on Facebook, Adam Niec. You could go to ratetracker. Let's take it back here. app.ratetracker.io/ref/John Hiley. If you want to check out Rate Tracker, that's his link, right? We're doing some big things there as from an affiliate partnership standpoint. We want to help everyone. We want to help all these merchants. And of course, we have CertainPay, www.gocertainpay.com. If you need help with a better credit card processor or just help with streamlining some stuff, we can definitely help you out. So thanks for having me on here, man.
All right, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast today with Adam Niec. Adam, I appreciate having you on board, brother. And thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today. And as usual, see you on that next one.
Thank you.
All right, man.